Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Industry podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Matthews, and joined by Thomas, our friend. He is amazing. So much that I want to cover today with you, Tomas. I have watched you. I kind of think I've discovered you, but we'll just let someone else think that. But go ahead and, for the people that don't know, jump on here and introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks for having me on. I think you have kind of discovered me, kind of broke some ground there at your one of your conferences. But I've been doing pumps the last 19 years. I'm a mechanical engineer. Now I work with Hidrostal, and I'm also involved heavily in the industry, with empowering pumps, with Hydraulic Institute, and truly enjoy what I do.
Yes, and that's where I met you. It was at the Hydraulic Institute's meeting. We always do like a tabletop where we socialize, and it's a really fun evening. And you always have kind of your pump on display. There's some water moving. You're talking to people, and that is, definitely something that we need in the industry, and just being active in these type of associations. And so that's what I saw, and that's why okay, I've got to know more about this person. So you said 19 years. You started out, kind of your first job was in pumps. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, at Yeomans Chicago Corporation. I worked there for 6 years. I did different roles. I did from bill entering bills to project manager to project engineer. And then that company got bought out by Grundfos. So I worked for them a little bit. And that was an interesting company, a global company, and kind of exposed me to more of what's out there.
Yeah, and then what I love is kind of you've done that, you've done pumps, you kind of went out in some other industries, but then you kind of come back to pumps. And honestly, once you're in pumps, you're gonna stay there, even if you try to get out. So back here, and you're kind of lead in this um, efficiency. And the first time we had you on the podcast, we talked about the calculator and how you can calculate efficiency. But most recently, we've had you on the Sustainability Summit, and I loved your conversation there about you've got to really look at the life of the pump, running it at the best efficiency point, yes, and but there's some other things, other factors that you have to kind of consider as you are selecting the pump and looking at it. So tell us a little bit about that, just for the people that may not have seen that.
Sure. Just to kind of summarize is you have to look at the total cost of ownership. And the total cost of ownership consists of not only energy, but the amount of times the pump clogs. How many hours does it run before is it 7 to 10 years? Is it 25 years? The amount of maintenance that you have to do. So if you let the contractor decide at the beginning to put the cheapest pump in, we're not looking at sustainability, we're not looking at efficiency. And the one unique thing about the screw centrifugal impeller is that it is highly efficient and passes large solids. And sometimes you have to compromise one or the other. So clean water pumps are very high efficient, but they cannot pass solids. And typically solid handling pumps lose some efficiency, um, but can pass the solids. So with the screw centrifugal impeller, you kind of get both best of both worlds.
Yeah, and this is used a lot in the municipal water side. We talk a lot about, flushable wipes and things like that, t-shirts, whatever people want to throw in the toilets, and how a pump can actually help with that with the right impeller. But also this can be used in a lot of different industries. So I know you've kind of been on a mission to learn all of the different ways, but from what I've found, there are so many different applications for pumps out there. And so the list is long.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we are mainly focused on the municipal market and have been for all these years. And now we're expanding globally into all these different applications. And, I work with all these managing directors from the other hydrostyle companies and, found out we can pump potatoes. We can pump apples. We can pump oily water. We can pump algae. Anything that has solids and it's shear sensitive and it's delicate. We're pumping carbon in gold mines. And it's, it is limitless. And the most fun thing is learning about these, going out there, visiting with the distributors and saying, man, I had no idea this thing can do that.
Yeah, and I've been noticing you traveling. So I think that so when I told y'all earlier that I felt like I discovered him, I saw Tomas like joining the Hydraulic Institute. You're a board member now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so on the board and kind of going out, plugging in. Uh, for y'all that don't know, the Hydraulic Institute writes standards, but they have also so many different education and training programs, which I know you're a part of. And so you've kind of been traveling out and about. Who have you been seeing?
Yeah, so the first couple years of HI, I just wanted to meet people. I wanted to learn the industry, see who are the decision makers, who's heavily involved. So I spent 2 years just kind of, you know, joining committees, joining the educational side because I saw I can quickly make an impact. And then after the couple of years, those people that I kept running into, they said, "Hey, are you ever going to come out and see me and present to my engineering firm?" And I said, "Well, I thought you'd never ask." And so this first 6 months of this year, I've just been traveling. I've been traveling to all these engineering firms, to all these people that are writing the standards, that are in the committees, that work on the biggest projects in the US. And I mean, those people are, way smarter than me. And it's amazing to just go out there and talk to them and bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, and I I think that, well, first of all, you're very smart. But we all have our like unique gifts, right? And like I think we've actually talked about this on the last podcast too. But sitting there and collaborating and just talking to people. I just can't stress that enough. I talk about it all the time when we are um, trying to market EPIC, which is the Empowering Pumps and Industry Conference, to get people in the room to talk to each other. It is so important. And oftentimes our events aren't designed that way. We have a lot of looking at products, or we're sitting and absorbing information and losing some of that ability to engage, and maybe losing some of the information that way too. But really excited about, like you said, the lunch and learns. Go and learn. You're teaching, but you're also learning from everyone else, and that's where we have innovation. And so I know that's also it's in your tagline there,
Yeah.
innovation. So
Yeah, and also, learning not just from engineers, from owners, operators, from maintenance guys, from everybody in this chain, right? Because we have so many different customers, and we can't lose sight that as a manufacturer, we know everything, or as an engineer, we know everything. No, the owners, operators, man, those are the people that are in the trenches, and they understand all of it and way better than us.
I was
And then
just talking to someone about that and how, there's the kind of different categories of people that don't play well together, and we must have them actually play well together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when I started as an engineer. The first thing I did is I made a drawing, and then I went to the shop and I said, "Hey, what did I do wrong?" Because you're the one that's going to build this, and it should be the same way with, with equipment, with the owner operators, with, these municipalities, and say, "Look, we think we got to figure it out, but what are your experiences, right?" And that's the best feedback.
Yeah, I was I was talking again to the pump maintenance guy that I was telling you about, and he's talking about having to, he's like 6'3", trying to squeeze in this little bitty place to do something. And they're like, okay, that was not designed for you, right? And so it's like thinking through the design as someone who actually has to work on the equipment, and you may not see it that way. And that's why we have to share those ideas. And so I love that example. And I think that that's also why um, kind of your experience in doing all of these different tasks within the industry sets you up for being able to help kind of connect those people and train those people up. So I love that part. What else? I mean, I'm thinking of all of the different applications. But what keeps you motivated to do
Um,
this work?
what keeps me motivated is that, in the last 10 years, even with Hydrostal, I celebrated 10 years, is that there's something new around the corner. Visiting all of these different engineers or owner operators, I learn something every day. And that's what keeps me motivated because you never know what's around the corner. You never know what industries we could get into, what product lines. what kind of synergies working with companies, working with company like yours, the Epic Conference, and bringing people together and be able to talk. It did break me out of my shell. It kind of said, hey, look, you don't have to just sit there on stage and listen to abstracts. You can just kind of network and talk to people. And that's the biggest thing, I enjoy that. I enjoy that even more than engineering.
Oh, well, look, that just makes me so happy. I saw that in you. Yeah, I really did. Because it is that interaction at events and that networking, and there's like sparks that come alive with people or light bulb moments that happen at conferences. And that when you see that, then you know how to actually help someone because you're basically helping them discover what the challenge is in front of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't see that on ourselves. I know I can't. I have to look at a, group and then say, okay, that person is dealing with the same thing that I dealt with, and I'm wanting to help them. So take some help for yourself in that. So there's some leadership tools that we can use, but honestly, what I've learned is just gathering people to have conversations, and it presents itself. So you definitely are a testament to that, but also great topics. And I hope that you are continuing to present what sounds like you are. You're doing the lunch and learns with
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest part is actually just taking the time and to create the content. I wish, that it would just come flowing to me. It doesn't. I'm an engineer. So, I have just kind of basic bullet points, and I need external help to make it more presentable and not be as boring or cut and dry as an engineer would put it out there.
Well, I love that we now have AI tools that are coming into place to help with that. Adding more words, basically, is what we're doing. My middle son wants to be an engineer. There's a right way and a wrong way. He's very like, not a lot of words coming out of his mouth. He's also an athlete and just very focused and what's the most efficient use of his time. And anyway, I'm really excited for him to know that that's the path he wants to go. First, he wants to be a professional player. Let's be real.
There
But
you
then,
go.
second, he wants to be an engineer. And so, when I think about that and how that aligns, it's my job to put him in the situations where he's going to have to talk to people and get better at communicating, right? And so, we just learned that about everyone. Now, I've met engineers that don't have any problem with that. So, I think that you also have to recognize that. Um,
And
okay.
internally, that's what we try to teach our sales, right? So our application engineers. A lot of people just want to rely on emails. They're afraid to make that call. They're afraid to be wrong. And we say, listen, pick up the phone. Don't be afraid to learn. And you can build a relationship. You can't build a relationship over email, but you can over a phone call. And it's personable. And so we say, listen, they'll come to me and said, hey, I need your help. I said, go call that person. Find out on your own. Don't be afraid.
Oh, it makes me remember of the gentleman that teaches the children in Georgia. He was at Epic, Brandon, and he talked about it, teaching the children basically if they come to them, don't come to me and ask me, what you need to do. You need to know what you're wanting to do. So go investigate it and then come to me. Anyway,
Hmm.
I loved his presentation on that and insight on that. I'm just, I'm not giving you the answer, basically.
Right.
Go
Yeah.
go figure out all these different ways that the answer could be found. So anyway, I could talk to you all day, and I love the work that you've been doing.
Thank
Just
you.
out of curiosity, maybe something's come up since last I've talked. I'll do a little rapid fire with you.
Sure.
Favorite book?
Uh, I just reread How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I love
Yeah.
it. See, it's
Yeah.
all lining up here.
Yeah.
What about music? Jam.
Music, Coulter Wall. It's
Okay.
this guy that sounds like Johnny Cash, but he's 26.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then what's the best advice you've gotten recently?
Um, to not sit on decisions. Make a decision and go with it. Don't think about it for too long. Indecision is just as bad as not making a decision.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that because I do it all the time. Um, like go with that decision, right? Don't like work out every other possible scenario that
Yeah.
could happen. Just
Hmm.
trust yourself, right, in that decision. That was some advice that Rob gave me that I'm just like, he's like, you already know what to do. Let's just go with it. So, if you were talking to a new pump industry person, what advice would you give them?
I would say, there's so many tools out there now, like you said, from an engineer to help you write, with the AI. Use that, don't rely on it, use it, and then find all the training material that's out there. Like I said, part of HI and the training portion, it's huge now. There's so many things out there that are truly unbiased, unmanufacturers, specific that you can learn from. So use all the tools. I mean, continuously we gain more and more tools out there, and I'm jealous of when we were younger, or even the generation before us. They had to learn on their own. Nothing was handed to them.
Yeah, and that's because of the work that was put in from that generation to create these tools, and that we keep creating it and moving forward. So, always inspiring, Tomas. I hope everyone will connect with you. Best way for them to do that?
Find me on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. And I'll, of course, post a link to that. Let me think. I'll see you soon. I don't know when, but
Yep.
there'll be an event coming up.
Yep.
And then, of course, we'd love to see you at Epic, everyone. My before there's a lot of stuff before that. So just follow us along and we'll definitely keep you posted. Y'all share this episode. I want people to get connected with this gentleman because he's doing amazing things. Like I said, I found him. No, I definitely love that how when we get connected to some of these associations and do the work, that it leads to growth in our industry. So share this episode and until next time, be empowering.
Thanks, Charlie.